in this video, I'm going to give you a step-by-step play to turn 149 into over $800. You're going to see it me live. I'm in a trade right now. So you're going to see me go over the analysis and break it down for you right now. Buckle up your seatbelts, get ready. What was I looking at? What did I see that really made me convicted that I want to take this trade for a buy? Well, for me personally, I love to go to higher time frames. Today, I normally like the 4 hour, but today I'm going to go on the daily chart. Now, one of the things that I love to do is I love to figure out where am I trending. So we can just look at the chart. And if you look at the chart, we can see that this market is overall going up. All right. We can see that the market is pushing in an upward direction. So that's one way that you can identify the trend. All right. It's just by looking, hey, what direction is it going in? Another way that I like to look at it is I like to get this tool called the trend line tool. The platform that I'm using is tradingview.com, and you can sign up. I'll put a link in the description. You can start for free. And then if you want to get a paid version, you can. And the trend line, if you look to the right, it's the second option from the top. There's a tool called trend line tool. So I click that tool. And what I like to do is I like to attach 2 points. All right. I like to connect and align 2 points of the trend to give me a trend line. So I'll start from here. This will be my first point. This will be my first touch point. And then let's just say right here. Okay, right here will be my second touch point. So my first touch point, my second touch point. All right. And then I extend my line across the chart. To extend your line across the chart, just double click here. And when you double click, you're just going to hit style. And then when you hit style, just click extend to left, extend to right, and then just click OK. And then you will have the extension of the trend. All right. Now, when I extend this trend, this is now visually showing me that price is actually moving in an uptrend, and it's coming back around the area of where this line is, and it's bouncing back up. All right. That is the theory in which I'm getting here. All right. Now, this is one trend line that I've drawn, and this is covering the majority of price. Now, I can also grab the outskirts. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. So this is the majority of price. Our first black line is covering the bulk of price, where the body and the bulk of price is hitting. But we have these outer skirts. If you look at that wick that's sticking out down here, if you look at this wick that's sticking out here, and if you look at where price is currently over here, where we got wicks sticking out as well. So these are kind of like the outer skirts. OK, and so what I also like to do is I can take a trend line and I can connect these outer skirts here, and then I can connect 2 of these. We'll just connect these 2 here. All right, we'll connect this one and this one, and then we'll make this a different color. So let's make this, let's say we'll make this orange. All right. And so what this is doing is this is allowing me to see where price is now. OK, this first black line, if I delete the orange one that I just drew and we look at the black line, if we look at the black line right now and I were to zoom in to where price currently is right now, we can see that price is trading under the black trend line. So I can't use that to help me gauge a trade for right now because we're under the trend line. OK, now I can say, hey, price is going to go to the trend line. I can say that, but I don't have anything to help me base my entry off of. OK, so it's important that now I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to let's do the undo tool, and let's now bring back the second trend line that we drew. And that second trend line is connecting the outer wicks or the outer skirts of price. OK, and so now if I were to zoom in, let me just show you. Now, if I were to zoom in, you can see that I can utilize. OK, I can utilize this outer trend line or this orange trend line here to help me gauge an entry, because look at how price has now recently come to this trend line, had rejection, and is now moving up. OK, so that's the first thing. Now I'm on the daily. So now I want to come to, let's look at the 4 hour chart. OK, and there's something specific that I want to show you on the 4 hour chart. OK, let's just zoom out. And this is where I like to draw zones. So if you zoom out on the 4 hour chart and you focus on this area right here. All right, focus on this area right here. There's an area here in the middle. OK, look at this area here. All right, You see how price stops abruptly and reverses here. You see how price comes up here, stops abruptly and reverses here. We see how price came up here, created this long wick and then came down. And then price broke above, came back here, tested and then pushed up. All right. There is something in this area that's making price have this strong reaction. And I'm here to tell you that it's a zone. Okay. And so when I see something like that, I want to go ahead and identify that so I can visually be able to just look at the chart and clearly see, oh yeah, I know why it's stopping there. There's a zone there. All right. And so what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to draw a zone there. All right. In that area. And notice how as soon as I put that zone there, if you weren't able to follow what I was saying before, you can clearly follow what I'm saying now because of this zone. All right. So this zone is visually giving me representation of, hey, there's a wall here. There's a blockage here that's stopping price from breaking. OK, so that is clear and concise. We can see that. OK, so now I draw a zone there. If you want to draw zones, it's going to be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 6 option on the left side on Trading View. And then just click that and go down to rectangle tool. And that's where you draw your zone. All right. And the same thing you did with the trend line, you want to also do that with your zone. So double click your zone. Go ahead and double click that bad baby. And once you double click it, click style and extend to the right, extend to the left. All right. Simple as that. Now, next, we're going to come down now and I want to bring something to your attention. So now we're going to come to the 1 hour chart. And as you can see, we're moving up nicely. We're $400 in profit right now, and we're only risking $149 to get to that. So that's already almost 4 times our risk already that we're seeing on this trade setup already. So that's just phenomenal. All right. So now on the 1 hour chart, I want to show you something. On the 1 hour chart, we also have an opportunity to draw another trend line. So if you look from this low, and we just use a second connecting point, which is right here. So remember, with trend lines, you're just connecting 2 points. So if I go from here to here, that's a valid trend line. All right. So I'm going to actually pull it out a little bit more because I want it to be on that bottom wick. And then I want this one to kind of be on this wick over here, just as such. All right. And so boom, just like that. All right. Perfect. So now we have an hour trend line here, and I'm going to change this hour trend line and I'm going to make it black and I'm going to make it real thick so I can see it. All right. So boom. So now what's important about this hour trend line, and I'm going to share this with you right now. What's important about this hour trend line is this. All right. When I come down to my entry time frame, which is the 15-minute chart, I take my entries off the 15-minute chart. I want you to pay attention to something. Notice how price is at this trend line. This is where price currently was before I took this trade. Now, if I zoom out, I want to show you something here. I got a 15-minute zone here, and I'm going to make this color green. I got a 15-minute zone here within this area, 15-minute zone here, that price came to after coming to this trend line. And then at this zone, I have a chart pattern, which is called a double bottom. Okay. And so I see price giving me a break and a pullback, and price is respecting the zone, not breaking underneath the zone. And then we got buyer's momentum that started pushing up after price respecting the zone twice. Double bottom. So that is an indication for me that, hey, I got a trend line here. I got a double bottom here. Price pushing up, coming back and retesting the zone, respecting the zone with buyer's momentum coming out of the zone. This is the perfect opportunity for me to initiate a buy with the momentum as it's going up. And then, ladies and gentlemen, boom, this is why we're in right now. Okay, this is why we're in right now. So as long as price, all right, as long as price continues to respect the structure, okay, then we have ourselves a trade set up that can make us over $800 while we're risking just $149. This is the type of trade we want to be in. All right. The next thing is I can't take my entry until I get a positive risk to reward. What do you mean by that, Calvin? Well, I never want to be in a trade where I can't risk. Let's just say, for instance, if I'm risking $10, I never want to be in a trade where I can't make more than $30. If I'm going to risk 10, I need to make at least $30 or more. Okay. If I'm going to risk on a trade $50, if that's my risk on that trade, I have to make at least $150. This is my risk to reward ratio. Okay. This is what determines when I take my entry. Once I got the structure figured out and I know exactly, where I'm at in the market and where I would like to take the market, I have to wait until the market gives me an opportunity to take an entry and be able to risk one amount to make at least 3 times more that amount. So again, in this trade, I'm risking $149. Okay. So I need to at least make 3 times that. But on this trade, I am going to be making, if it hits my take profit, I'm going to be making about $843. Okay. I'm making 8 times what I'm risking on this trade. All right. So we'll see how this trade plays out. Holla at you later. Welcome back, traders. So I am back in the market right now. It is Friday now. All right. And look at what happened here, guys. Just as I told you guys, just as I walked you through the analysis and we talked about this area, this zone here, right? Look at what price did. Price went up to the top of the zone, just as we spoke about, took out the area where we wanted to make the $800. And now price is rejecting essentially. And so this was a successful trade setup, a successful analysis. And this is the power of learning and understanding the movement in the language of the market. Okay. Literally, I'm able to get into a trade and move on with my life. Once I set my stop loss, I set my take profit. My stop loss is the most amount of money that I'm going to lose. Remember, what I'm going to lose is different from what's in my account. We never risk our whole account. We risk a small portion of our account to 3 times or more that money. Okay. And that's how we win over time. And so in this setup, I walked you literally through, this is like my go-to market structure, zones, trend lines, understanding the language of the market. This is my go-to day in and day out. Every trade setup is different, but the analysis and understanding what I'm seeing stays the same. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I really wanted to teach in this video and just show you me in the trade live, show you what my markup was, and then show you where we want to take profit. And you can now see everything that we have laid out in this video. Everything that I've explained to you has taken place. All right. Now, I must say, every trade doesn't go my way. There are some weeks where I take a little loss. There are other weeks where I break even. I don't make any money. And there are weeks where I make good money, right? And so every day, it's not just money, 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 money. It's about consistency. And if you focus on the risk to reward, remember that. That is so key. If you focus in on the risk to reward, hey, how much am I risking on this particular trade? And how much am I set to make? And making sure that you are always set to make at least 3 times what your risk is, you will put yourself in a position to win. All right. Doesn't mean you're going to win all the time, but you'll put yourself in a good position to win. You will make the odds. The odds will be a little bit more on your side. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I wanted this video to be more educational, really slowing things down, breaking things down for you guys. But yeah, I mean, I'm getting ready to get my Friday started. It's early in the morning, and hopefully this video will get done and you guys can get this today as you head over into the weekend. All right. Talk to you guys later. God bless. Hope you enjoyed this video, and holla at you later. Peace.